Welcome, sons of Sparta. I am Sun versus the Moon.
I'm Cassette Blue.
And this is Budsday. Today.
Get ready. Checkpoint. Congratulations.
Hey guys, welcome back. Hope you enjoyed our intro once again. It's always delightful. I know I do. Cassette, how you been, bud?
Been good. I had a really good photo shoot yesterday, so I'm still a little bit on cloud nine from that.
Nice.
I don't want to talk about it too much. I'm still like exploring my thoughts and feelings right now about photography. I think I've mentioned it a couple of times, not on podcast, but in general life. And it feels nice to feel nice. And so I'm just kind of I think that makes sense, right?
Yes.
I'm just kind of low key exploring that right now and trying to practice mindfulness, just be introspective. And so yeah, anyway, how are you?
Cool, man. That's awesome. That was awesome. Way to lead it off. Yeah, man, I'm good. I'm house hunting. The housing market here is insane. I don't know. Looked at one today. I don't know. Gotta sleep on it. We'll see. I'm kind of a little anxious about that. Otherwise wonderful. No complaints. Everything's going pretty well. Looking forward to some video games. Been streaming a little less. I think I'm going to continue streaming a little less. We're going to definitely keep doing Saturdays and Budsday. I may switch to actually streaming on the Budsday channel itself. Maybe less on mine. Maybe just on mine a few times a week. Just kind of chill it out a little bit. I want to spend a little more time working on Budsday content specifically, and streaming itself just takes so much time. And if you've tried to record or edit or do anything like that, it alone takes up, it's so much of an effort. And we're trying to do some other projects, and I'm falling behind on him. Cassette's done his part. We're waiting on me, so I'm trying to play some catch up. And I may just have to kind of cut back because we have some really cool ideas, and I would really like to see them realized. Because ideally, if we could get enough regular content that you guys like it, we could start generating some revenue, and that'd be pretty fun to get some merchandise. I'd like to. I still want to get a Budsday T-shirt with this logo.
Yes.
Yeah, man, I'd like to get some regular content for people to want to actually subscribe to. So
Let's just put up that shirt. Let's just put it up. Let's just put up a first run. Let's just do it.
Yeah, we should. We definitely should. If I move and have some storage, for sure. If I get like a garage and we can actually store someplace, yeah, for sure. But yeah. Anyway, should we jump into the old news arena with our new format?
Into the news.
Yeah, man.
Yes.
Cool. All right. Well, for today's intro, this is kind of a somber thing, and we're kind of gonna head up I guess a series of stories, and then they all kind of correlate with each other. But the first one, it is, unfortunately, we're finding out it is official. Excuse me, PlayStation on July 2nd. They're closing the PlayStation Store on PlayStation 3 consoles and the PlayStation Vita on August 27th. So you will still be able to access your purchases that you purchase, but you will no longer be able to make new purchases. They haven't indicated when they're going to decommission this, but when they do, that's a bummer. So I was telling Cassette that I had seen a bunch of YouTubers posting top 20 PlayStation games to grab on the PlayStation Store and your PS3 before the store closes. And I think we should make one of those for our personal
Yeah.
Budsday choices. So that'd be really fun. Let us know if you're interested in that. I think it'd be a super fun project. I want to do way more stuff like that with Budsday. So anyway, this is a huge bummer though. We're gonna
It
have
really
there are
is. End of
some.
an era.
I should pull out my discs, man. I have my disc of Metal Gear Solid 4. How else are you gonna play that without emulation?
Yep.
Seriously.
Yeah, I wonder how much like what the availability is for that disc at this point. Um, but yeah, probably emulation is going to be the way to go for a lot of these titles. I would imagine there's got to be a bunch of people that have archived the actual like ISOs and the PS Plus files for them, or PS Network versions of the games.
Yes, they have. You can actually do it yourself as well,
Mhm.
but you need to jailbreak your PS3. That's a whole other experience. I actually, fun fact, my PlayStation 3 that I have was the Metal Gear Solid bundle. I had held out until that released, so I got the box with Snake on it and everything. It's pretty dope.
That's wonderful.
Yeah, it's
Is that
awesome.
one Linux? Oh no, it's probably been up. Oh, it hasn't been updated.
No,
to-
it was that one. Yeah, I actually don't know. I don't think it's available anymore right now. I'm pretty sure they got rid of that functionality. But
Oh,
yeah,
man, I
it
would love
was.
to be able to play around with my.
But it is the
PS4.
original where I've got the emulation. I can do the backwards compatibility stuff. Yeah, it's the fat one.
That's rad.
Yeah, it's awesome. I really like it. So we're gonna have to go through and get those. But speaking, these kind of lead into our next story here. Sony files a patent allowing you to earn trophies on emulated games. So this kind of tells us that this could be their new strategy moving forward, which would make sense. I'm of two minds of this though. One, yes, that's amazing, right? Hooray. They're already in emulation exists. We've seen it happen. RPCS 3 is awesome. Cassette and I have personally used it. We used it to play Demon's Souls. I was using it to play
all right.
Yeah, I was using it to play Persona 4 or Persona 5, pardon, the PS3 version. 4K 60 with texture upres pack was amazing. The game logic was tied to frame rate, so the battles were a little faster and things kind of moved faster, but it was really beautiful to see. The menuing was delightful.
It actually seemed better quality than the PS4 version, even.
Oh, I agree with you.
Yeah.
Ninja Gaiden, amazing. So there's some. Oh, even emulated PlayStation Network. So you can you can connect PlayStation 3s to it, or you can connect emulated RPCS3 instances to it as well and connect. You cannot do cross network compatibility, but it's still there. Anyway, that's how Cassette and I played Demon's Souls for a while. So this we know this technology exists. My other mind though, when they told us that this thing was being taken away here, if they were going to drop such heavy bad news, don't you think they would have followed up at the same time with the good news of this if they had the tech ready to go? Truly.
You would think, yes.
Because they pissed off so many people.
My initial thought is that they are working on that, but they're waiting to discuss it when they actually have they have it ready to discuss and actually working and but
I agree with
I
you.
don't know.
So I'm not all on board with the train is what I'm saying yet. This is not all good news in my opinion. This is cool. I'm glad that they're doing this patent, but we'll see if it happens. This does lead us into kind of somewhat related content of Ratchet and Clank. This is the 2016 version of the PlayStation 4 game. Now, everybody gets this. If you have a PlayStation 5 and you subscribe to PSN, you get the PS Plus or whatever.
PS Plus, yeah.
You get, this is part of the package. And what they have done is they have patched an old game, previously compiled SDK to be able to execute at the higher frame rate. Now, the one thing I don't know is that they haven't disclosed, or maybe they haven't, I'm just not familiar yet, is if the game logic is tied to frame rate in Ratchet and Clank. If that is the case, then I'm really curious how they're doing it so effortlessly, because then Bloodborne is prime target for it. If not, then I'm guessing that's the case. But I don't know if do you know if Ratchet and Clank had a PS4 Pro patch?
That I wouldn't know. I did not see that.
Yeah. Okay. Well, regardless, we don't need to dive too much into it. It's just kind of good news. We're finally seeing some good news with regards to backwards compatibility. I like to see this stuff.
Mhm.
This is Lance McDonald. We've highlighted his work before. He's a enthusiast game engineer.
Yeah, he kind of digs into a lot of the nooks and crannies of the code for some of our favorite games. He does a lot of Bloodborne content that we've seen. We've seen him do content on PT, Near Automata now. He was discussing that there would be requirements in the SDKs depending on if a game was built for PS4, PS4 Pro versus PS5, and that there would be limitations on what could or couldn't be patched or upgraded in order to run using the improved hardware of the PS5. And this is looking promising. Not very well versed in software development, unfortunately, so I can't really comment too much on it. But anything that indicates that we can have the golden egg of 60 FPS Bloodborne, that's all I care about.
Yeah, man. And speaking of Lance, we can kind of transition to the next bit here. So there is an inherent problem with the PlayStation 4. Every computer, every motherboard has a CMOS battery in it. And the CMOS battery, if you have a bad BIOS config when you're trying to overclock your motherboard, for example, you need to reset your CMOS. I have a button that I've hardwired on my case that if I hold it, no matter what, it will when I'm powering on, I hold it and it will reset my BIOS because it's set on a pair of jumpers that once you jump those, it will, when you boot up, it does the equivalent of making that active. Essentially, pushing the button completes the circuit, right? So when the circuit's complete, that's when it clears the CMOS. Anyway, the other way you could do that is if you pop out the battery. So you can reset your settings. They die after X amount of years. Nintendo cartridges used to have batteries in them as well. Those start to die after X amount of years. They're very easy to replace.
And quick question about that. So is it that the BIOS settings are stored in like volatile memory, so they require power in order to stay active or to
Correct.
remain saved?
Yes, correct.
Okay.
So it's fairly simple to replace these things. You pop it open and do it. The problem is if your PS4 battery dies and you go to replace it, if at that time it cannot reach out to PlayStation Network to adjust its internal time, it essentially breaks itself.
Mm-hmm. And this is because apparently trophies on the PS4 require a verified system date time in order to initialize. And apparently, if your trophies can't initialize, games won't run. I don't understand why this is, but apparently that is an unfortunate requirement for games to be booted on the PS4. So
what this is essentially is a ticking time bomb. In time, unless this is removed, you can jailbreak your PlayStation 4 and manually set the internal clock, which most people will probably not be able to do because I don't think you can even jailbreak the current version, correct? The current firmware?
No, I've not been keeping up with jailbreaking PS4s.
I still think they're a little bit further behind. Regardless, unless they do that, and at that time, I'm not saying it's an immediate threat, but it does suck. So I hope they remove this requirement.
Yeah, it's one of those things where like it requires PSN to be active and it requires it to accept connections from a PS4.
Yes.
PSN isn't going to be going anywhere anytime soon. That's not really an immediate worry, but it again is all about preservation and access of these games. So like down the road, another 10 or 20 years, PS4s are basically probably going to not be usable if PSN doesn't work very well in terms of sticking with what do you call that, supporting legacy hardware, I guess is a way to call it. But there may be a time where we just don't get to play PS4 games anymore unless, you have a PS5. But I guess right now the easiest way to fix this is just to go ahead and replace your CMOS battery now, so it's got a few extra years in it. That's about it. Yeah.
I'm not sure that's even a huge concern right now, to be honest. But just keep it in mind. It's just not forever. It's this device that, again, we're reliant on that service to be there. Kind of nuts. On kind of more interesting news, if we shift gears, we switch here. GameStop is going to be selling graphics cards. Now, I think this is kind of cool. They're selling hardware now. I went to their website and I took a look, and we've got Elevate Your Game. We got motherboards. We got Wi-Fi routers. We got wireless gear. We got monitors. I'm into it, man. That's sick. They got motherboards in here. Get some video cards and whatnot. Yeah, man. Give me another retail place to be able to go and buy product. Can I go in and put a reservation on a 3080? I will do it. Even if you say I'll get it 6 months from now, if I can put a reservation and I'll get it, I'll do it.
Yeah, what do we have right now in terms of physical retail options? We have Best Buy. Fry's is gone now, right? Or they're closing.
We don't got Micro Center here.
Yeah, man. This is great. It's great having some like physical local competition.
Yeah.
Or availability is probably the more important thing right now, because competition isn't necessarily going to be changing the MSRP, but this is cool.
Correct. Prices will probably actually be worse there if I'm completely honest, but I don't know. We'll see.
Right now, if you can get a card, you can get a card, and that's all you should be excited for.
Good luck, everybody.
Yeah.
All right. Quickly shifting gears, some good news. Ikumi Nakamura, who made her debut, so to speak, and the 2019 E3 showcase for Ghostwire Tokyo, and everybody, she made a splash on the scene and then quit a few months later. Everybody was kind of surprised at why. She seemed to be relatively a newcomer when she had a debut, but she's been around the scene for a very long time. She initially worked on Okami as a background designer, and then she worked on some Street Fighter, some Marvel versus Tekken, some Ultra Street Fighter, and then she was the lead artist in The Evil Within. So if you love The Evil Within, you can thank her legendary brain. She did some more character concepts for Street Fighter V, and then she did some additional art in The Evil Within 2. But then, she also did some conceptual work for Bayonetta, in 2009. So she's been around and worked for some really awesome companies. She spent like the last 10 years working at Tango Gameworks with Shinji Mikami, and all praise, bless. We love the creator of Resident Evil and The Evil Within. So glory, praise be to Shinji Mikami. And so anyway, it was kind of interesting. She had left and she kind of disappeared, and she alluded to here about her health, how the stress of her work, and watching her superiors at Capcom go through some issues, and how she did not want to lead to that. And she quit before she saw her health deteriorating, but also at the same time, she was pregnant. And I think that was kind of a surprise to a lot of people that she revealed. She kind of went dark. I don't know if you follow her. I was following her on Twitter, and she kind of just went dark. And she went and like toured a bunch of studios and was very interested. They mentioned she got a lot of Facebook requests, or not Facebook, LinkedIn requests, like over 2,000 LinkedIn messages straight away. But this whole time,
everyone wants her to work for them.
Heck yeah. But this whole time she was having a baby. So no wonder, it's like, oh, this makes total sense. She wasn't feeling, healthy at her job, and she's going to be a mom. Like, heck yeah, get healthy. So she did. And now she's getting her own studio underway.
Yeah, it's kind of funny because in the video she actually talked about how Ghostwire Tokyo itself also felt like like her child. And she basically like realized that the best thing that she could do was step away from it and let someone else start taking care of it. It's kind of, bittersweet, but it's still in my mind, it's still her. It's going to be her game. Um, but yeah, so this video that the article is referencing, it's a new channel on YouTube called Cutscenes, and they're all about video game stories. This is the second video that they did. The first one was with Fumihiko Yasuda, who worked on Neo and Neo 2. And
Shout
they
out.
just kind of, yeah,
Shout
great,
out.
amazing. Well, I know that you've played them more so than I have, but
Super hard.
some
I
pretty
kind of think
amazing
if you think
games.
Sekiro is hard, I think Neo 2 might be harder.
I wouldn't doubt it. So yeah, Cutscenes is doing or starting a series doing interviews with people in the game industry, talking about their experiences. The second episode was on Ikumi Nakamura here, and just basically talking about her formative experiences in video game development, and going into working at Tango, and then going into starting her own studio and IP. It's kind of interesting because she talks about how she started out in games on the PlayStation, being like super inspired through Resident Evil and Final Fantasy VII and Devil May Cry, and I was just like, "Holy shit! I have a kindred spirit here." um, well, with the Final Fantasy VII, I know that fortunately were able to play Resident Evil and DMC much earlier on than I was. Um, but
I mean,
yeah, and then
it's
she
it's a
did.
Capcom fan. I'm a long-term SquareSoft. And I'm a Capcom fan. So
Mhm.
it's and if you any Levolution, shout out Levolution if you're watching. Any of my buds that are Street Fighter fans, you're a Capcom fan. You kind of love all the same stuff as that I love for sure.
But this video was also done like with the backdrop of her exploring these old decrepit buildings and like failed developments around some areas in Japan, and like going around photographing them, and like the way that she likes to explore spaces, the way that she talks about how she loves the concepts of like fringe science, and using said fringe science to kind of like muse and explain supernatural events and such. Just like listen to the way that she talks is really fun. I definitely recommend everyone watch this video if they can. But yeah, she also discussed like uh you were talking about people working at Capcom. She was always inspired by those people who basically slept underneath their desks so that they could just keep working away, but like realizing that that wasn't the kind of environment that she wanted to build at her own studio, and it's not the kind of trapping that she wanted to fall into, because it is, you can look at that in one way as being passionate in your work, but it's also physically and mentally draining. It's super bad for your own health, and it's not good for the end product that you're working on.
Right.
But yeah, she's we don't have any information yet on what the studio is, what kind of IP they're going to work on. But she said that she's very excited to basically build a very diverse workplace, get people from outside of Japan, coming from all different cultures, to work together. She wants to make a very uh, gender equality focused work environment. It's just it's just great listening to her aspirations. I really enjoy it. Yeah, if you can,
Yeah.
check out that video. I am going to hopefully this week watch the one with Fumihiko Yasuda, so I can get a little bit into that person's brain some more. And yeah, very excited to find out what the studio is going to be, what they're going to be making.
Speaking of Fumihiko Yasuda, we should just kind of roll into the interview
Yeah.
we were going to talk about with him. And there's really nothing revolutionary here. He is now the head of Team Ninja. He is responsible for the Neo aspect of Team Ninja, right? The cool aspect. Unfortunately, he was involved with Ninja Gaiden 3. We had Itagaki-san, who was responsible for Ninja Gaiden 1 and 2, and then he left and he came in and he was replaced by Yasuda. And Yasuda, his team under the direction of Team Ninja under him was quite poor for Ninja Gaiden 3. They did redeem themselves with Neo to an extent. I think Neo is awesome. I still think Neo has its flaws. But their combat evolve is very good. And if you've played Ninja Gaiden 1 and 2, they're very good. But the Neo combat is quite outstanding. I think it's the best, probably. I think it's not as I don't know if I like Sekiro better. Sekiro is a rhythm game. Neo is not. Neo is an action game that has very complex. Neo is more like a fighting game, where you do your stance switches and charging your ki and your pulses and your parries and whatnot. Where Sekiro is more da 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 ching da 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 ching. It's totally a rhythm game when you get going into it. Regardless, he gave an interview for this for the Master Collection that's coming out. There's nothing fancy. It's essentially just a, up-res, upscaled. To be honest, I was streaming this, like we said, with our BCS3, and it was dynamite, bud. So this is cool, but this is nothing spectacular. I'm actually kind of disappointed that it's only 720p on the Switch. If it is in fact not emulated, so it probably is, right? If that's telling us,
right.
If it's that, if the performance is that poor. Regardless, there was one kind of line that caught both of our eyes at the end here. And why don't you elaborate on this?
So in this interview, they had asked Yasuda like what kind of game that he would love to get a crack at, if not working on Neo or Ninja Gaiden. I guess specifically as like the third brand to be known for. And he had talked about how he would be more interested in doing something more of like an open world or a sci-fi type of game. And looking at his credits, that isn't something that he's ever really done. And it kind of seems like lately I'm hearing a lot of bigger name creatives and developers in the games industry start to kind of get more freedom from their higher ups and their publishers to work outside of what they are known for. I mean, maybe that's more of the freedom that a lot of teams are getting from we talked about Xbox in our last episode and how the Game Pass format really helps developers to have less restrictions put on them by shareholders in the other companies that they work for, and so they can actually be more honest about the things that they want to achieve, and they have those means to achieve them and freedom to achieve them. And actually that's tying back into I forgot to talk about in the Nakamura not interview, but in her talk, she was discussing how when she was first showing off Ghostwire Tokyo, they had a whole script and everything. They had practiced like the English pronunciation for everything, and at the last second, they told her basically, you know what, screw it, don't go through this script. Just talk about your own personal excitement about what you've been working on. That honesty, that personal excitement will be so much more genuine, and people will resonate with that so much more. And that was part of why she exploded on the internet.
Yeah, and at the end, I forget what she said, like, it's a spooky, and then she said something at the very end to like watch my presentation or something like that.
Yeah, I was like, mitene.
Yes, that's it. Yeah,
check it out.
Yeah, so
take a look.
So it was like scripted, and then she just went out and that's what she just did.
Back on Yasuda, I don't think that he's necessarily implying that this is the third IP that they will work on. I kind of feel like a lot of articles these days are talking about, or taking a thing said in passing in an interview and saying, yeah, this is exactly what we're working on right now. Check this out in another half a year. But it would be grand being able to see developers be able to work on more of the things that they want to take a crack at, even if it's brand new to them, in terms of game design and style. I want to see more risk. I want to see more risk in the game industry. So even if it's just like a fleeting desire to try something new, let's let designers take a crack at it.
Shifting gears back over to computer hardware for a second, this is
Yeah.
kind of interesting news that nothing essentially yet, just what the future may hold. Team Group announced its line of T-Force overclocked DDR5 memory. They're now giving it out to their partners to look at. The thing that really caught our eye though was that its voltage is at 2.6 volts. Now that's insane right now because currently DDR4 its default voltage is 1.2 volts. So
Mhm.
this is a substantial increase. If you tried to put 2.6 in a DDR4, you'd melt it. Like, you can maybe push like 1.4, maybe 1.5, like pushing that so hard. I think I should have looked at what mine is currently set at. When I was really overclocking big time, I had mine overclocked pretty hard, but these days I don't. I actually undervolt my stuff for long-term performance goals, gains. But yeah, this is pretty substantial. This will allow them to basically just hit higher frequencies at the higher power. It's pretty wild.
And to be clear, this isn't saying that it will run stock at 2.6,
No.
but that it can push 2.6 volts relatively safely.
Yes, their memory can be operated. Yes, it is made possible by their power management. They're actually with DDR5. It seems the voltage is no longer on the motherboard. It's being handled on die. So it's
Which is really cool.
pretty well. Is it on?
I love
Is it
all
on die?
all this progress. It says that it's being managed on module. So
Yes.
I would imagine that.
Yes.
Yep.
Cool. That's pretty dope then. If it's actually on their memory module happening, that means they have a ASIC controller probably built in, to it to only do that functionality. But it just means things are getting smaller. It's pretty cool. It's just an advance of technology. The more space you have, the more things you can put on the thing. Before, you had to have, even before when you had motherboards, you had a north bridge and a south bridge, and they would do different calculations. You needed, your PCI bus controller or your AGP controller, and then you needed your memory controller, and then your CPU just did itself. Well, the CPUs are so powerful now, they've incorporated a lot of those to be on die itself, meaning on the chip itself. So they've moved a lot of that functionality over. So yeah, it's just it's pretty cool. It's just another example of things getting smaller and things getting faster and more efficient.
So this is talking about T4 specifically. So I'm wondering if all DDR5 is going to be like that with power management on the module, or if that's just a function of DDR5 to be able to communicate with the motherboard saying, just send us the full power, we'll take care of it ourselves.
I don't know. I don't know enough about it quite yet, but that is a very good point to bring up that we can explore in the future. But yes, I actually don't know.
Yeah, I'll be curious to find out about that once we actually have, or we're closer to the point of being able to actually get consumer DDR5.
Yeah. Well, once it becomes in the realm of remote possibility of pricing, who knows?
Yes.
On a side note, this is just kind of a cute one. As a result of Kingdom Hearts coming to the PC, the save itself is this cute PNG image. It's saved in the metadata of this PNG. This is your save file in Kingdom Hearts. If you look up your save file on your hard drive, it's this. Instead of like some batch file or some bin file or whatever, it's this cute PNG.
It's a 7 megabyte PNG. It's kind of interesting because in the video that they show in the article, they show somebody uploading the PNG file to Discord and then downloading it from Discord, and it seems like the metadata is still intact on it. So it's apparently a really convenient way to be able to share your save data with other people. You just wouldn't be able to edit it without knowing your way around like a hex editor or anything. But it's still kind of neat because, man, I keep forgetting that now that Kingdom Hearts is on PC, and I think I might actually get that version of 3 instead of we'll see. But Kingdom Hearts modding is going to be wild, and I'm very excited to see what kind of messed up stuff people are going to be putting together. Modding in general, fun. Anyway,
Very.
Kingdom Hearts PC, cute save files.
Okay, so Platinum Games, a little bit ago, they gave us this tease of the Platinum 4, and we will refresh your memory if you don't remember what the Platinum 4 was. We'll go through them again. The first one was Project GG. It was Hideki Kamiya's kaiju game that looks awesome. Well, the concept anyway. I'm excited. The second one was the Wonderful 101 remaster. I never played the remaster, or I played a little bit of the first one, but I never played the whole thing. I gameflied it. I played it for like a couple hours. My head was busy that weekend. I had to send it back. You know what I mean? So I never really invested time into it. I was interested. I may revisit it sometime.
I feel like we could have a whole conversation about GameFly in that era. Anyway.
Yeah. Anyway, but you feel me, right? You get it and you're like, I don't have enough time. And then if you don't send it back, you're going to end up buying the game because you've rented it for so long. So if you got to make that decision, am I going to play it? No, send it back.
And the 1 to 2 week delay of getting your next game as well.
Yes, exactly. So I knew I wasn't going to invest time into it. Yes, exactly.
It was not the same infrastructure as Netflix, even though it tried to be. But anyway.
Right. So anyway, they have the next bit was Soul Cresta, and this is a shmup that it's very interesting that they're finding the time because they're still working on Bayonetta 3 and hold on. I'm so mad right now. Remind me.
Grand Blue Fantasy, Relink, Babylon's Fall.
That's it. Babylon's Fall. Yes, thank you. That's how long ago it was. I could not remember. Do you remember Babylon's Fall? We should watch the
No.
Exactly. We'll watch the trailer for that when we're watching all these as well. Here, let me go ahead and prep this. That's too funny. So exactly. There you go. They're still actively working on these huge things. Let's see. Platinum Games, Babylon's Fall.
Oh my God, is this the game that I've been trying to remember for so... Oh no, this is something different. Still though.
This is 2 years ago.
Right.
This is the Squaresoft Platinum Games game. So yeah, we'll watch all of these. But anyway, they additionally revealed World of Demons, which is it an Apple Arcade game, correct?
Apple Arcade, yes.
So I have not fully watched this trailer yet. Cassette has. It was pretty awesome. I paused in the middle of it. Let's hold off. Let's watch it live. So let's just go ahead and let's do a quick recap because there's not a lot of news to talk about. We just saw the reveal of Soul Cresta. That's really the whole reason why we're talking here. And then they revealed World of Demons. But the other stuff, it's always fun. We love Platinum here. Shout out Hideki Kamiya. We love Resident Evil 2. We love Bayonetta. We love everything. We love you. You're a legend. So, Beautiful Joe, Okami, I mean, you name it. It's the man. He's the man. Let's watch Project GG full screen. Budsday, go.
I actually did not notice that board before.
Awesome, dude. Have you watched Godzilla versus King Kong?
No, but I really want to see it.
This always stressed me out every time I watch this. The dog here. Animals in stress always bother me, man.
Go.
Love it.
Too friggin' cool.
Yeah. Project GG.
A go-go.
Great sound effects.
Mm-hmm.
So I was getting lots of like Ultraman vibes when I was a kid.
I thought when you were first showing me that's exactly what that was supposed to be. It was like, oh, this Ultraman? Okay, cool, let's go.
Yeah. So if we get some Ultraman kaiju battles in there, I'm in, bro. That sounds fun
This
as
is
heck.
stuff I grew up on, man. Just the Power Rangers and Beetleborgs and with VR Troopers too.
Oh
I
yeah,
vaguely remember. Do you remember VR Troopers?
VR Troopers, but heck yeah.
Oh my god.
Not Battleborn. That's a game. That's a Gearbox game.
Beetleborgs.
Big
Those
Bad
Sentai
Beetleborgs. I remember
Big Bad
this.
Beetleborgs. Thank you.
Yeah.
Growing up in the 90s,
I didn't watch a lot of
and
this, but I remember Big Bad Beetleborgs now that I'm looking at this logo.
this was my thing for so long. But yeah, all those Saban brand shows were just exactly what I needed when I was growing up. That and Thundercats. But anyway.
Oh my gosh, Thundercats. Oh, and I loved He-Man too. I was a huge He-Man fan.
And we're not going to go down the rabbit hole of my love from across. That's for another day entirely. But
I do love big robots.
big robots just hit right. Oh my god. Anyway, yeah.
The Thundercats are on the loose. Wait, what is it? How does it go? The Thundercats are on the move. The Thundercats are loose. Yeah.
Feel the magic. Hear the roar.
Maybe. Thundercats. Yeah. I don't know. Love Thundercats.
The guitar riffs.
Snarf. Oh man. Anyway, we didn't mention one of the other Platinum Games announcements was their Platinum Games Tokyo, their new studio. Anyway, let's watch. I guess should we go? What do we want to watch? Do we want to watch Soul Cresta?
Let's do Soul Cresta first.
Soul Cresta, right?
Yes. And this is I guess there were arcade games in 1980 and 1985 titled Moon Cresta and Terra Cresta. So this is almost 20 years since the previous game. So this is a nice retro return to form. I have not played any of these games, but now you can imagine that I'm going to find a way to experience them before Soul Cresta comes out.
That's awesome. I love that logo, bud. I love it so much with the wings.
It's all about the music for me right now.
Love the music, dude.
It's just so happy. Dock in. What did it say there? Can you back up for a second?
Sure.
What did it say at the
Dock in, form up, and fire. Coming 2021.
You know, that's one of the difficult things about a lot of these shmups, especially when they're top scrolling, is that they're made for like vertical orientation.
Yes.
And we are everything is HD now, everything is 16:9, everything is widescreen, but like that's not the only aspect ratio that we can enjoy content. I mean, even on our phones, we're doing 9:16, or actually no, we have a lot of wider phones now, like 21:9 or something. It makes it a problem, especially when you're streaming games like that, where you're like your game is only like a quarter of the entire screen. But I don't know, I want to see more, especially in movies. I want to see more directors and cinematographers pushing for like the old Academy ratio, 4:3. Well, it was 1.33 to 1, but anyway, it's just something that's been on my mind a lot. It just came out. So yeah, Soul Cresta, everybody. Totally cool. Let's play it.
The final bit. Let's watch The World of Demons, and then we'll chat a little more. This is Apple Arcade.
I'm excited for you to watch this.
Yeah. It looks like Okami.
And what are we fighting?
Yokai.
Yup. I wonder if I should just go ahead and download this.
You got an Apple device, right?
I do. It's old,
Dope.
but it might be able to run it.
Oh, I love that.
Mm-hmm.
World of Demons. Cool, man.
So supposedly you aren't just fighting yokai, you're also getting yokai to fight alongside you. So
Nice. Poke yokai.
so there's a bit of a mixture of that. I'm gonna give it a whirl and see how that all plays out. But I did not realize, and I'm sure that you've mentioned it before, maybe not, but a lot of people that have worked on Okami are working on or work now at Platinum, and so have made a title that kind of continues that sort of Sumier ink wash artistic direction, and probably the gameplay is not going to be entirely dissimilar. Maybe it'll even play a little bit like a Zelda game.
How do you mean?
But on
Oh,
mobile.
I'm not
Because
sure.
Okami was originally inspired by Zelda in terms of gameplay. Supposedly,
It is the best Zelda game up until Breath of the Wild. Maybe I like Twilight Princess, but I don't know. It's my personal favorite Zelda game. So you had mentioned people working at Capcom or people working at Platinum Games were ex-Capcom folk. And initially, so Shinji Mikami created Resident Evil 1. Hideki Kamiya was responsible for directing Resident Evil 2, and then later it moved on to Devil May Cry, and then within Capcom they had their own studio, and it was called Clover Studio, and Clover Studio produced Beautiful Joe and Okami. And Okami, as we have talked about before, is I consider it the best Zelda game until Breath of the Wild. Potentially Twilight Princess I do really like, but if you love Zelda games, Okami is awesome. It's one of the best, if not the best, Zelda game, a traditional kind of Zelda game. But they had a lot of fallout, man, and they broke free. He left Capcom, took his entire staff with him from Clover, and they formed Capcom, or they formed Platinum Games.
that's kind of amazing, like being able to get the majority of, if not your entire staff, to believe in your vision to actually jump ship with you.
Yes. So that's kind of where they're at now. They are still doing he still has that team, but they've partnered with many different companies. Squaresoft, they worked with Nier Automata. They've done, like, there's a Ninja Turtle. They did some B tier ones, like the Ninja Turtles fighting game, The Legend of Korra. Excuse me, some of those weren't as good, but they were still pretty fun. Honestly, I played them, but they're not like amazing. So not every game is a home run, but they've had some dynamite ones. And Astral Chain, I still recommend you play it. The combat is extremely fun. And fortunately, Scalebound got canceled. Microsoft still owns that IP. They could still bring them back to make it. Hopefully, I think Microsoft I wouldn't be surprised if they try to buy Platinum at this point. It'd be kind of seriously, right?
Right.
But Nintendo, they're almost like a first-party studio. And Nintendo single-handedly funded Bayonetta 3, or Bayonetta 2, and then Bayonetta 3. So if it wasn't for Nintendo, there would be no Bayonetta right now. That's pretty cool, man. But anyway, let's watch the Babylon's Fall. Let's refresh our memory what Babylon's Fall was, and check it out.
Yeah. This is it. I was wondering what happened to this game in my memory.
So they're working on this and Bayonetta 3, all while at the same time Project GG, World of Demons, and what's the new one that came out that we're talking about?
World of Demons.
No, the other one that just came out. The reason why we're talking about them.
Yeah,
Version 4. Soul Cresta, thank you.
Yeah.
How are they finding all the time to do this? No wonder Bayonetta 3 ain't coming out yet. Seriously, bro.
Everyone's hunting for that new information.
I mean, it's the reason why Nier Automata doesn't have them, or the Nier remake doesn't have them.
It's a company of at least 288 people, so they can work on a couple projects.
Yeah.
God, this is so... I remember this now.
This is Squaresoft funded too, bud. Sorry, Square Enix.
It's funny because I remember seeing this reveal and thinking,
dude.
This looks incredible. I love the story or the world building that they're doing with this. And then within a couple of months, it just completely left my brain. And I've had moments in time thinking about, I remember seeing something that I had totally fallen in love with, and I cannot for the life of me remember the title, and I could not think of any details to share with people to be like, do you remember what this was about?
Well,
and
awesome.
So being able to see that reveal just now reminded me, thank you so much, son.
Heck yeah. Cheers, mate.
Not that I need one more game to be excited and wait on, but
bro, it's platinum.
At least
they automatically get elevated to excitement in my book. I don't really care what they make. Even the B tier ones are still heck of fun. The Ninja Turtles game. Let's take a look real quick. I'm really curious. How many hours did I have in that? Let's see. Is it called Ninja? Maybe I didn't have it on Steam. Oh, I had it on Xbox. Yes. It was Xbox game when I played it for sure. 360, I think. Yep. Anyway, super fun. It's kind of generic, but it was just a beat 'em up. But if you love beat 'em ups and Ninja and Transformers, it's awesome. You know the did I say Ninja Turtles? Or it's both actually. They had a Ninja Turtles and a Transformers one, and a Korra one.
So you're referring to a Transformers game?
I'm referring to Transformers. I played the Ninja Turtles one as well. Hold on, let me see. Did I hit this Transformers? Oh, is this the one?
I remember this now.
Devastation. Last played 2015, 7.2 hours. Yeah. This is the one, right?
And then they had Mutants in Manhattan the following year, it looks like.
Yeah, heck yeah. This was awesome. This game is super fun. So there you go. I played through it once. It was 7.2 hours. So maybe there was harder difficulties, but I didn't know if I cared enough to play through it. But this visually was enough for me to go through it.
Oh man. Kind of want to try this now.
You should try it. If it goes, the game was very fun. I played it to completion. It was pretty generic. The combat was pretty straightforward, but it was heck of fun, man. Let's see if we can skip ahead a little bit. Yeah, it's just like it's a pretty decent Platinum's game. You know, you see what it is. It's fun. Yeah. I recommend. I liked it. I enjoyed the heck out of it. So I played the Ninja Turtles one on the Xbox. I think it was.
I really like this art direction.
When was it? When did that one come out? Let me remind myself.
Which game?
The Ninja Turtles one.
2016. This was 15.
Ah, yeah, there you go. So it was super fun. I recommend checking it out. It's a pretty standard. But the Legend of Korra one, Ninja Turtles, and this one are all fairly decent. But this one was my favorite one. The Korra one I thought was the worst of those three. And the Ninja Turtles one wasn't too great either, but the Transformers one was kind of fun.
This is reminding me that I need to go back and replay Metal Gear Rising: Revengeance.
Oh my glory! Ella was streaming it again. He went back to the ultra hard. That game on Revengeance mode is, oh boy, I don't know if Sekiro is the hardest game after that.
You know, I still didn't play Sam's story in that.
You have to, man. Mm-hmm. Jetstream Sam is so good. He's up there with Bayonetta, man. He's super good.
I think I'm re-downloading that this month.
Yeah, definitely. Jetstream Sam is super fun. If you have never played Metal Gear Rising, boy, the last boss is mad frustrating. So I beat it on PlayStation 3, and then when it came out on PC, I could not beat the last boss. And I was watching Ella stream it, and it turned out, this is a while back, it turned out that it's like bugged, and you have to play it in like 800 by 600 mode. Do you remember this?
I remember talking about it, yes. I don't think I ended up having to do that. I think they fixed it since. But
Or was that just
'cause
a
I don't
placebo? I don't know. I watched him recently. The other day he was
no
doing it.
idea.
He switched it back to 800 by 600 mode though.
Really?
Yeah, yeah. And he's like, I don't know, it's just a placebo, but I'm getting it to work. But regardless, what difficulty did you play on?
I think I'm playing on normal.
Oh my gosh. Okay, it's acceptable
Yeah.
there. That game is mad fun though. If you learn the parries, oh my goodness, it's so fun. Yeah.
I definitely recommend it. As someone who's usually pretty bad at games like this, I absolutely recommend it. It is an incredible experience.
For our final, I guess, feel good end on a feel good
Yes.
note. Sony, in a record making profit year, have decided to give their employees 7 months worth of salary as their bonus. So that's probably like roughly, if their employees make 80 to like 120, something around there, it's what, like 60 grand. No, not that much, like 40 grand or so, so maybe like 7 months worth of work. So that's a pretty big bonus for all those
It's
people.
almost 2/3 a year. So yeah, probably like 50, 60,000, depending on what your salary is.
Yeah,
And that's these kinds of bonuses are supposedly supposed to happen twice a year.
wild.
So yeah.
GG. GG if you work at Sony right now. But just wanted to give a little shout out to the anti Bobby Kotick division.
Kotick.
Don't support it. Supports, do this. This is sick, man. Heck yeah.
I mean, there's all this stuff about, there's no ethical consumption under capitalism and all that kind of stuff.
True.
But at least Sony is actually taking care of their employees. They are seeing record well, I don't know if record profits specifically in the divisions of game and music. They're still seeing really great profits. The article talks about the fact that they're actually more or less making their projections in terms of how many PS5 units they're trying to sell. I think they're at 6.5 million, and their projected sales were like 6 or 7.6 million. So they're just behind. But this was from like I want to say the stats were either just slightly earlier in the year, or they're specifically Q3 stats. So they haven't released their fiscal year or end of fiscal year 2020 stats, which that fiscal year just ended. But yeah, they were on their way to a profit, not revenue, but a profit of $10 billion company wide. So the fact that they decided to, I don't know, 7 months bonus or 7 months salary bonus
Awesome.
for all their employees is kind of incredible. And so, if you have to be fanboyish at all towards Sony about anything, make it the fact that they're taking care of their people. But yeah, this is pretty amazing. Hire me. I am sure that I have some skills that you will find useful. Yeah, I'm available. Just call me.
They're limiting their projection based upon the amount of silicon that can be created realistically,
There's that.
because they could sell more. But let's not forget, even everything with current price or current availability, orders were placed a long time ago. It's not like they can just say, oh, Ampere is selling more, let's make more, right? They have to place their
Yeah.
orders a while ago when they make those initial contracts. So Sony had to predict what they were going to be able to manufacture, otherwise not just on their chips, and what they were going to sell. Microsoft did the same thing. Apple has done the same thing. So everybody puts their bid in with TSMC or Samsung or wherever their foundry is. So they predicted what they could sell, and they're purely limited by supply right now.
Yeah.
These numbers would be even higher if they could actually get the supply for the demand. I still think they're going to have higher billing, than the current GPUs, but I don't know. We'll see how that pans out. Hopefully, once the pandemic comes to a more controlled state and more people are vaccinated and stores are open again, when retail availability starts happening on a more regular basis, I think that's when you'll start to see more increased availability.
I hope so. Yeah.
I don't think it's going to be this year, though. I think we're gonna maybe start seeing that happen in September, maybe for the holiday season, maybe. I think it's gonna be March of next year, this time next year when we're gonna be back to kind of normal. By then, we'll have probably most offices will be back in their rotation. Schools will be back in play. People will be mostly vaccinated. You will have more supply lines fully staffed, and everything will just be back in more order. But I don't think that's going to happen anytime this year soon. I do think it's pretty cool that we're getting a lot more vaccinations. So hopefully, I could be wrong. I would love to be wrong. And this all, by in 2-3 months from now, we're all cruising and back to normal. And then, it's no question this holiday season, you'll be able to get yourself a console. I just don't think that's a reality. I'm not an optimist. I'm not. I would love to be, but I'm not.
I remember when we were looking at it early in the year, they were talking about this drought of availability in manufactured products would probably last at least through or at least until the second half of the year. But it's best to be conservative about these things than to be too optimistic. So yeah, I would definitely agree with that.
I can tell you this much right now. So as you know, I'm a network engineer. I buy hardware for my company. Cisco switches are on a 70-day order. Business day, not like working day. Yeah. So if I want to deploy a switch, or if I want to order some hardware, I have a huge delay. This is just semiconductors. I mean, that's everywhere. You have like cars, manufacturing, refrigerators, everything. The global semiconductor market is affected. So it's not just graphics cards. It's not just video cards. It's not CPUs. It's everything. I think once most states have people vaccinated, that's when you will have a massive resurgence in in-person traffic and retail space. And once the retail space comes back, then you will have more manufacturing populated, and the pipelines will just be more full across the board. Once the retail space is there to sell the products, the factories will reopen, period.
And hopefully no more Suez Canal issues.
Oh my God. People drawing dicks in the Suez Canal. I can't freaking believe that. Anyway, GG.
It's been a fun time on the internet the last month. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah. All right, guys. Yeah. Well, on that note, we're actually ending at a pretty decent time tonight. It's 10:14. Yeah. We have a 1 hour and 30-minute runtime before the edit, so that's pretty dope.
Yep.
Cool, man.
And you're just in time for school night sleeping. Perfect.
Yes, definitely. Shout out Monster Hunter. You've been dope. Monster Hunter Rise. Just a quick little, I got to give a quick little couple of shout outs.
Please do.
We haven't been able, we had to have a shift. I know, I apologize for not doing this month in gaming. We want to do something more focused and less just kind of all over the place. Unfortunately, with our streaming schedules, it is just too much effort to do that. We really got to kind of cut back on that. And I know I've been kind of alluding to that, but I don't want to stop completely because I just love hanging out with everybody. But you may, expect to see less of that, and especially once I start going back to the office. Once I'm back there and I got to start commuting again, who knows? We'll see what we can do. We may have to shift Budsday. We may start streaming from the Budsday channel. So regardless, I got to give a shout out to Monster Hunter Rise. You can't quite beat the content of Monster Hunter World, right? The amount of monsters that exist, the amount of content and things there are to do is kind of unbeatable right now in World. But praise be the wire bug. Bassa. It is so fun. It gives everybody Spider-Man powers. If you played Miles Morales or the godlike Spider-Man games, those games are super fun. You have that in a limited fashion. Imagine if you were like kind of lame Spider-Man, right? You're like tired Spider-Man, or like, you know what I mean? But still, you have the ability.
Someone get Spider-Man some sugar.
it gives you, before I used to, they have the wyvern riding, and I gotta be honest with you, when I did it in the demo, I wasn't really into it. I kind of didn't fully understand the controls, but that's Monster Hunter, man. If you don't understand the controls and you just try to jump in and try to push buttons and try to make things happen, it's gonna push back and you're not gonna have a good time. So I learned the controls, and I super love the wyvern riding. Before I used to hate it when other monsters would come in the picture. I have to be like, man, pull out the poop bomb, hit them with the blap them, and then they take off. Now you see him as a weapon, right? You're like, yes, because they come in and they're kind of weak too. Like the monster the way that they kind of have it worked out, it's a bit of a formula. A little too much. They should make it a little more random, because it's kind of every time where the new monster will come in and they'll fight. More often than not, the monster that you are not targeting gets hurt, so it gives you like a free weapon to use against the other monster, so you can instantly ride it. And then you could ride that dude across the map if you want. And what I'll do is, you can do a couple moves where you ram him into the wall, and that does fairly good damage, or you can attack with him. I find you build up a super meter and then unleash it, and I honestly have not been as impressed with the damage on that. I do find it's better to just keep attacking him, do routine damage, and then when it's about to blow up, just ram him into him. Sometimes sometimes that's kind of better because it stuns him more. Anyway, regardless, the game is mad fun. I cannot wait for it to come out. I wish it was out on PC now, so it'd be 60 frames. I could use a mouse. When it comes out on PC, if they gave me let me use my save, please. Can I take my save? And then when I lay in bed, I can play like hunting stuff. It's been so fun doing because they do that on Divinity. You can play Div 2 on your PC and your Switch, right? You can take your save with you.
Really?
I'm almost positive.
Oh.
So, so anyway, if they do that, because I've been doing like the dumb quest where you got to just go, hunt some small thing when I'm in bed, like when I don't got to do much. Or if I want to just go join somebody in a double baggy quest, I can join their thing and then sell all the mats, because I'm mostly broke all the time. But I'm still not at quite high rank 7 yet. I know there's no ending. Apparently, they're going to patch in the ending at the end of April this month. So hopefully that new... Go ahead.
I've been seeing a lot of Games Radar posts coming up talking about like easy ways to make some money in Rise.
Well,
so maybe I should forward those to you.
Shout out to Lunar Heart. She always she gives her rec is baggies are the easy ones, and there's actually the first high rank tier of quests in the multiplayer is a 2 baggy quest that you can just join. Tons of people are doing it, and then just help them kill them real quick. You don't really care about the rewards from your win, because those usually get split, but then just sell all the materials that you find.
Okay.
Yeah. Anyway,
and I can't wait to pick that up so I can finally play that with you.
I've actually really liked playing this one solo for whatever reason. I don't know if they've tuned the monsters differently. Well, I know they definitely have. Some of the Monster Hunter World stuff, that's the other one. They've made him actually a threat. Jury Totus. Do you remember Jury Totus? It's like the kind of lame one that rolls around in the mud. And it's big and kind of a threat here. And the armor they give you, it has guard up and what's the one where you guard and it gives you the damage boost? That's guard. Well, one of them makes so you can guard against higher level enemies, and then one of them gives you the damage boost. It's the ideal. If you play a lance, get that Jury Totus set. I guarantee you're gonna play it like Dark Souls. You will love it. Would you agree?
Some lance.
Would you agree with me? Yes. If you like to parry, longsword parry, I find challenging because you have to. Not always. The window is very open. It's got a really forgiving hitbox. It's just kind of a weird thing. You kind of take some getting used to. You kind of step back, do some weird things. The lance, bud, it just feels good. You know exactly when to parry. That monster comes in, you bam, boom, and if you got that guard up or whatever the one is that gives you so you can block against more powerful things, boom, boom, boom. It's so fun. Anyway,
hell yes.
So yeah, shout out Monster Hunter Rise. I'm gonna be playing more of it. Coming out very soon though is the remake of Nier. Expect that. I'm going to be playing the heck out of that. Are you going to be playing that? Do we need to do a Budsday thing of that? Or are we streaming those?
Oh, I don't know.
Would
That's
you
a
want,
great question. I didn't consider it yet.
or what if we did a Budsday only Let's Play? Like if I did it, and then if you um, were observing, we could talk about it as we were playing it together for the first time.
That might be fun to do, actually. We'll have
We,
to talk on that more, but I do like that idea. Yeah.
yeah, we'd considered doing different show ideas, but anyway, after that is Lady Dimitrescu herself, Resident Evil 8 Village. Let's go.
Can't wait to watch other people play that.
Oh, I think I want to
Unless
stream
I
that
can
one.
get a PS5. Unless I can get a PS5 by some miracle, then we'll see. But
I don't know. They haven't announced any of the VR stuff, right? I don't think it's going to be VR at launch. If it's not a thing, that's a bummer. But I'm probably going to be playing on the PlayStation 5 because I don't think my console will be able to handle it. I'll probably be 30 frames because we'll be running ray tracing maybe. I don't know. Maybe DLSS, the AMD version of DLSS will be launched by then and we'll have some cool performance on PlayStation 5. I'd love to have that, man. It'd be great if we had some 4K Devil May Cry 5 with ray tracing support, and man, with turbo mode. Let's go, man. More Demon Souls, beautifulness. We gotta make some PlayStation 5 playthrough again.
yeah.
Excuse me. What's coming out after? Sorry, go ahead.
Well, I was just gonna say I'm very excited about the whole this was just something that I'd never really thought about enough until very recently, and started to really appreciate AI upscaling in terms of just being able to increase resolution tremendously for video games and have like very little overhead, and the result looks almost the same or really indistinguishable quality. Like being able to do DLSS 4K upscaling or I keep for I think you even just said it. AMD's method for upscaling. Being able to have that is huge because there are some people that want their 4K for their video games, but being able to do that at still be able to do it on 60 FPS on a console is just like that makes it all worth it, honestly, in my opinion.
Well, it's called a Fidelity FX super resolution.
Right. Thank you.
The biggest thing is being able to run ray tracing. So you can't really do ray tracing on AMD stuff because there's no deal. If you didn't have DLSS, running ray tracing on an NVIDIA card would be very taxing and not be as good as it. So if they actually get that, then yeah, we might see some actual decent, cool performance on console games. That's pretty sick, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway,
no more tying logic to 30 FPS, please. Stop it. To frame rate in general.
I was blanking a little bit. How could I forget the follow-up after Resident Evil 8 is, of course, Final Fantasy 7 Integrate.
Jeez, yes.
Yes.
When is that exactly again?
June,
okay.
Yeah, so May. So yeah, it literally comes. April is near. May is RE8. June is Final Fantasy.
I need to get my hands on a PS5, man.
There's also that Rachet Clank game coming out somewhere around there. I think that's in June as well. But
maybe I need to just go for a digital version, man. I don't know.
Games are pretty expensive, man. I got a problem. I was looking forward to Returnal. I don't think I can drop $70 on that one, bud, for a or a roguelike, man. I don't know. For a shooter with a controller, I'm not really gonna have. If it was on PC and it was like $40, I might be into it. But $70 on console only, maybe if it's PS Plus, maybe in like 6 months or a year from now, I'll play it on PS Plus.
Depending on the timing, maybe I'll get that one, and then you could borrow it from me.
Maybe. I don't know if it's worth.
We'll see.
I don't even know if it's worth it. Yeah, save your money, spend it elsewhere.
You're right.
Anyway, bud. Thanks so much for joining us, everybody. Cassette, as always, I appreciate your time. That was a fun little rift at the end there. Jumping in.
Yeah, thank you, son.
We need to do more off the cuff, non-news scripted stuff. So we are looking forward to some new shows. We discuss them internally often. And so just, I know I keep saying it, but I want to keep talking about it because I don't want it to leave the brain that we do want to keep the Budsday content coming. So we hope to bring it to you. And thank you so much for joining us. Thank you so much for watching. Our good friend Talus, shout out Talus, said that she gets all her video game news from Budsday Today now. So
Oh,
bless.
it's wonderful.
Talus bless. That made me smile so much when you said that. Oh my goodness, I
really
had to
appreciate
tear.
that.
Oh, Talus, thank you so much. Praise, shout out Talus. Yeah, we'll catch you guys later. Cassette, as always, bud.
Son, thank you. And reminder to everybody to make sure to go to Linktree, linktr.ee/Budsday today. Make sure you follow us on Twitter and all that good stuff. And, hope to keep seeing you in future episodes. Thank you, everyone. And thank you, son.
Yeah, man. Cheers.
Cheers.
Whoa, you're staring right at me. That was
Oh,
weird. That was really
I'm actually
weird.
looking like my eyesight isn't actually on you, but I realized that
You're
if
like
you
right
look
in
at
the
camera,
camera
it
for a
looks like it.
second there.
Goodness gracious.
Hold on. I'm so mad right now. Remind me.
Hold on.
Say again?
I think I'm gonna get myself a pizza tonight. That pizza, the Red Baron pizza, is just like fantastic. Let me tell you.
All right, Snoopy.
I want to watch some Peanuts. I haven't watched Peanuts in a long time.
Say something else.
You want to hear me talk about some Peanuts?
Yeah, but
You want some of that?
I want some
What
of
is the birds?
PSMR.
PlayStation Meridian response. So you want some PlayStation Meridian response?
Wait.
A
Say
week
it
and a
again.
half, I get my
Say it
other-
again. What's this called? What you just said.
PlayStation Meridian response. Oh my god, you're so right. Chills.
Umbasa bless the wire bug.